You know, imagine looking up at the night sky and spotting something that just doesn't belong. Well, on July 1st, 2025, that's pretty much what happened. An observatory in Chile spotted this faint little object moving impossibly fast. It wasn't one of ours. It was 3I Atlas, a messenger from another star system entirely, and it was about to kick off one heck of a cosmic mystery.
Right away, astronomers could tell something was off. I mean, they did the math, they accounted for the pull of the sun, every planet, everything, and this visitor was still speeding up. It was being pushed by some invisible force. It was like a cosmic detective story, and the main suspects seemed to be breaking the laws of gravity.
So let's really dig into just how unusual this visitor from another star actually was.
Okay, let's talk speed. 58 kilometers per second. To give you some perspective, that's fast enough to get from New York to LA in just over a minute. It's absolutely screaming. And this is what's called its escape velocity. It's moving so fast that our sun's gravity has no hope of capturing it. It's just passing through, a brief little handshake before it vanishes back into deep space forever.
And to really see what a total outlier this thing is, just look at this comparison with the only other interstellar visitors we've ever seen. Look at that speed. 58 kilometers per second is nearly double the others. And then there's its eccentricity, which is just a fancy way of saying how stretched out its orbit is. A perfect circle is 0. 3I Atlas is over 6. That means its path is less of a gentle curve and more of a straight line just blasting right through our cosmic neighborhood.
But its incredible speed, that was really only the start of the mystery. The real head-scratcher was this unexplained acceleration.
So, there's a scientific term for this. It's called non-gravitational acceleration, or NGA. All it means is that some force, something other than gravity, was messing with the comet's path. Now, the effect was tiny, but it was constant, and it was undeniable proof that our models were missing a huge piece of the puzzle. Now, this kind of acceleration isn't totally unheard of, right? We see it with our own comets. They get close to the sun, the ice on their surface turns into gas, and it shoots out in jets, like these little natural rocket thrusters. But here was the problem. When scientists tried to model this using regular old water ice, the math just didn't work. Not even close. The push was way too strong for the amount of water they were seeing. So, what was pushing it? This was so weird that it even fueled some pretty wild speculation. The astrophysicist Avi Loeb even suggested it could be some kind of alien technology using propulsion. But as astronomer Samantha Lawler pointed out, while you have to stay open-minded, that idea was really pushing things to the limit. The scientific community was pretty clear this was a natural object, but it was one whose behavior we just didn't understand yet.
So, to solve this puzzle, scientists needed a closer look. And it turns out, the answer wasn't in the comet's path, but in its chemistry. And that led to a huge carbon dioxide surprise.
In August of 2025, we pointed humanity's most powerful eye, the James Webb Space Telescope, right at 3I/Atlas. It analyzed the light coming from the gas cloud around the comet, basically reading its chemical barcode to see exactly what molecules were being shot out into space. This was it. This was the moment the case was about to be cracked wide open. And the results? They were absolutely stunning. Yeah, the amount of water vapor was low, just like the model said it should be. But the amount of carbon dioxide gas was enormous. It wasn't just a component, it was the dominant gas pouring off this comet. The specific ratio was about 8 parts carbon dioxide for every 1 part water. I mean, this is one of the highest CO2 to water ratios ever recorded in any comet, whether it's from our solar system or beyond. This wasn't just a clue anymore. This was the smoking gun. And with that one piece of chemical data, everything suddenly snapped into place. That strange acceleration, why the old models failed, it all made perfect sense.
Okay, so here's how it all worked. Carbon dioxide is what you'd call a supervolatile ice. It turns to gas at much colder temperatures and way more violently than water ice does. So as 3I Atlas got closer to the sun, even while it was still really far out, the sunlight was enough to make this CO2 ice erupt in these really powerful jets. Those were the rocket thrusters everyone was looking for, providing that extra push that so perfectly matched the data. And just like that, the mystery was solved.
But solving the mystery of how it was moving revealed something even more profound. This wasn't just a comet. This was an ancient messenger between worlds.
This chemical fingerprint tells an absolutely incredible story.
First, all that CO2 means it must have formed way out in the freezing cold edges of its home star system. It was probably kicked out into deep space really early on in its history, which preserved all of its original ices. But here's the most mind-blowing part. Its trajectory suggests it came from what's called the Milky Way's thick disk, a region filled with ancient stars. This means 3I Atlas could be billions of years old, maybe even older than the Earth and the Sun, a true relic from the youth of our galaxy.
You know, the story of 3I Atlas shows us that the space between the stars isn't empty. It's filled with these wandering time capsules, each one carrying a unique story of its own birth and its exile. And it just leaves you with this one final fascinating thought. As we look up at the sky, how many more of these ancient messengers are silently soaring past us, carrying the chemical blueprints of worlds we haven't even begun to imagine?